Disaster can strike anyone, anywhere. Just this past April, we had over 20 tornadoes hit the ground in Indiana, causing damage and devastation in communities across the state. Witnessed the disaster firsthand in Sullivan, Indiana, not too far from where I live, when I met families that lost their homes and offered federal assistance to the mayor in that case. Older adults and people with disabilities were particularly vulnerable in the aftermath. We must do more to plan ahead before disaster strikes. When I ran a business for 37 years, we budgeted for things outside the ordinary. We didn't go on a kind of a disorganized spending spree. We had it in place. That's why you have insurance. That's why you have rainy day funds. This isn't something special because most other places do it. And the scale, even to the size of the ones that attract federal attention, you could still be doing the same thing. Most Americans are very practical. They try to save and prepare for that rainy day, for that unforeseen event. My home state of Indiana has had over $2.5 billion in reserves. We are always prepared. And if you don't do that, you have to dig your hole even deeper. Because right now, this federal government is borrowing 30 cents on every dollar we spend. And it's going the wrong way because it was just 20 cents when I got here 4.5 years ago. It was 18 trillion in debt, now 31 trillion. That is a terrible business plan for the future, including how you confront the disasters. Talked about COVID earlier. You're throwing money at the problem does not necessarily stop the course of a tornado or the spread of viruses. This is an expensive lesson that we've learned, and Chairman Casey mentioned how it ravaged senior citizens. Always senior citizens seem to be in that place of most peril when there is a disaster that comes along. We spent $4 trillion on COVID alone. We borrowed every penny of it. We lost more than 1.1 million lives to it. Instead of prioritizing the highest risk groups, which we should have, because we knew the science of the disease very quickly, we ended up just following the political science. And what did it do? More money borrowed, more money spent, and it really didn't do a great job on protecting those that needed it most. The record inflation that we're dealing with now does not bode well for putting emergency funds together, which we need to. At the heart of this is big government. From 2019 to 2023, the federal spending grew by 40%. We cannot adopt the model of panicked crisis governance as a standard response for emergencies. After 3 years, it took 2 measures by Congress to end the COVID-19 national emergency. Why should Congress have to fight to end an emergency? We should have to fight to keep it in place. The American people are simply looking for things that make more sense, like they see in their own lives, in their state governments. They see a place here run by bureaucrats that generate generally decisions that are counterproductive. Last week, I joined Senators Lee, Blumenthal, Crapo, Risch, and Murphy. That's a broad bipartisan effort to introduce the Article 1 Act. This bill would automatically terminate national emergencies if Congress does not renew them. The federal government should do more to plan ahead for emergencies and change the trajectory of emergencies, especially to protect older Americans and those with disabilities. I look forward to learning from you, advice on your end in terms of what to do. But generally, it's going to have to be housed within a system that doesn't take us deeper in debt, that actually would do a big rainy day emergency fund here and quit borrowing money from future generations for whatever we do.